for virgins only. Now, did you know that the sperm is not just a fluid? It's more than a fluid. It is actually a DNA carrier. It is a DNA that carries genetic information and also spiritual information. The more a woman sleeps with a man and the man ejaculates inside the woman, the more she will carry this genetic and spiritual information of that man, and she will store that information. So when she gives birth, some of that information will be shared to the child. But if she doesn't give birth, for example, if it is not her time to conceive or she aborts that child, that information is stored. I heard somewhere that could explain also the number of occurrences of hemorrhoids? I think hemorrhoids and such things. I don't know. I'm not a medical doctor, but I just heard something like that. I don't know. But what I know is that the sperm is a DNA carrier. It is a genetic carrier, genetic information carrier, and also a spiritual information carrier. So when a woman sleeps with many men, she carries the information of these many men genetically and also spiritually. This explains three things that maybe more than three, but for now we are going to talk about three. It explains why when a couple stays together for quite a while, they start to resemble one another. Number two, this explains why why these twilight girls who are accustomed to sleeping with very many men, they have weird characters. They develop a stone cold like heart. They don't care. They don't really fear talking about things that probably the society will be conservative about. So because they carry all sorts of traits of all sorts of men, when you utter, they don't know, they've never met, they just met there, they were paid, and someone deposits things inside them. It also explains why, number three, you will find a child being born in a family with very weird characters that can never be traced in that family, from the ancestors to that generation. Those traits cannot be traced. You find a child who is very similar to maybe the shamba boy or the gardener or a colleague at work or a friend in church, right? And this lady is married, and when you test the DNA of the child, is actually her husband's child, but the traits, they follow a certain character that you can pinpoint somewhere. So that explains that behavior. Now, what are the three effects of sleeping around, of not maintaining your virginity? What are the three effects? Number one, women will retain every DNA for every man that they slept with. Number two, those cells that have been retained in a woman will be passed down to the fetus if she conceives, especially by her husband. The child will carry those traits, and a child will be born with a trait of a different a person. And number three, there are spiritual implications. There's very high spiritual implications. Unapata tu wewe peke yako kwa familia yenyu, wewe ndio upati kazi, wewe peke yako kwa familia yenyu, wewe ndio how progress in life, ama wewe ndio unaanguka mtihani, and yet in your family, in your entire family, everyone is the opposite of who you are. So you find maybe you've carried some spiritual implication from somewhere, na mama ndio anajua peke yake. What is the way forward? Number one, women value your virginity. I know after this video people will start commenting hapo wakisema na men. You like talking about women na men. When a woman values their virginity, the man will also remain a virgin, right? Yes. So value your virginity. Preserve that virginity to the man that you'll get married to. Number two, be very careful If in case you fall, be very careful with the person who will break your virginity. Be very careful, because you will have you will be a store for their spiritual condition and their genetic information. Number 3, virginity should be a gift of love. It should not be given anyhowly. Kubebwa chipo, unabebwa chipo funga kwa club, umeenda umelewa, umekewa madawa huko, umeenda umefanyiwa vituko, especially first years wakiingia university. Virginity should be a gift of love, right? Number 4, if you have already fallen, practice secondary virginity. Practice secondary virginity. Number 5, seek prayerful mentorship on remaining pure. Wacha uongozwe into prayers za kubreak those spiritual lines, spiritual implications za sleeping around, and also get mentorship on how kucontain your body. Unajua sometimes mtu anasemaga ati nimeshazoea sasa nitaacha aje. No, watu wanakaa hivyo. There are people who wenye walikuwa wamezoea na saizi they are not practicing sex. So please seek help, and after all is said and done, you will be okay.